I'm Jamie. Thanks so much for watching today. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about working with a second shooter. So when I started out in wedding photography 8 years ago, I started my first season and I shot all my weddings alone. I didn't know who I would have as a second shooter because I didn't know that many other photographers in my local community. But what's great about social media and all this stuff growing so much over the last 8 years is there's so many online groups where you can now meet photographers in your area. A few great online groups where you can find second shooters would be Shoot and Share Community. They have one big, huge Facebook group and also some local Facebook groups in certain cities. The other group would be the Rising Tide Society, which is a new movement that was started by Natalie Frank. That's awesome and a great place to find like-minded photographers and other creatives. And the other one would be Pursuit Community, which is a community of women photographers and creatives as well. So those are great places to join online and get connected with photographers in your area. So once you've found one of those groups and you've posted about needing a second shooter for a wedding date, and hopefully you've got a few applications and met a few people, then you can set up coffee dates with them. So a few things you're looking for when it comes to second shooters is you're looking for personality, equipment, and experience. So personality is a very, very big one. This person's going to be working with you one-on-one on the wedding day, all day. Sometimes a 12-hour day, driving with you to the wedding, and your personalities really need to jive together. So I love to meet my second shooters before I ever work with them or add them to my second shooter roster and just learn a little bit about them. Sure, some photography things as well, but just personal things and get to know them on a friend level. Second would be equipment. What kind of equipment do they use? I shoot with Canon, but it's not a big deal to me if some of my second shooters use Nikon, but I want to know that they're using professional equipment, a variety of lenses, and backup gear. Third would be experience. Have they shot lots of weddings before? Are they just starting out as well? Of course, if you're a photographer just starting out, it's not really reasonable to expect that a photographer you're going to hire as a second shooter has tons and tons of experience. So look for someone along the same level of experience as you. And now, it doesn't necessarily need to be a photographer that shot a lot of weddings. If they've just done portraits and are looking to break into weddings, but you really like their creative eye and they seem to have a consistent portfolio, go for it. All of us started as portrait photographers assumedly at one point before we broke into weddings, so there's no problem with doing that. As long as you get along with their personality, trust the equipment that they're using, and really like their eye that you've seen by looking at a full portrait gallery or wedding gallery, I think that's a great place to start. So once you've chosen your second shooter, now we're going to talk about some before wedding guidelines that you're going to communicate with them. So a few things that I ask of my second shooters before we even approach the wedding day is I expect them to be kind always to every person they interact with on the wedding day. There should always be a smile on our faces, and we're there to make the experience positive for everybody involved. The second would be showing up on time. Actually, early. 10 minutes early is on time. So often I'll drive with my second shooter into the city. I live about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver. So I'll have my second shooters, if they live out this way, meet me at my house. And so I really expect that they'll be there 10 minutes early so we can pack the car and make sure we're ready to go. And then of course I always leave extra time, so we're usually a half hour early to the wedding venue itself in the city. Next would be dressing professionally. I have posted a blog post on what to wear when shooting a wedding, and usually I'll forward that to my second shooters as well. I'm always looking at the second shooters dressing professionally, a nice dress, a nice pair of dress pants, really beautiful accessories, hair and makeup done, showing up like they're about to attend a wedding as well. So that's really important. The next thing is that my second shooters understand that they're there to help me accomplish my job. They're not there necessarily to get the best photo they can possibly get if it means they have to sacrifice helping me. So what I mean by that is always looking out to see what I need done. If I need a bag carried, if I need a veil fluffed or help hanging the dress, that needs to be their priority over capturing the best photos that they could possibly take. Your role looks different as a second shooter than a main photographer. Second shooters are not at a wedding to market themselves. I request that there's even no need for second shooters to bring their own business cards. What's even better is they can grab my business cards when they arrive and keep some of those in their photo bag. So if any of the guests ask, oh, could I get your business card? Second shooters should never take that personally, that they actually mean your business card. They mean the team's business card. So having mine handy is really great and something I really appreciate. Finally, before the wedding, you're going to want to make sure that you instruct the second shooter on what images you want. So what do you expect of them? They can't read your mind. So I expect of my second shooters that they'll capture the grooms getting ready if the bride and groom would like that. So I'll drop them off at the groom's house and they'll want to be capturing portraits of the groom getting ready with the groomsmen. Also detailed shots of shoes, tie, anything like that, and the process of getting dressed as well, doing up the tie, cufflinks, those sort of details. During the ceremony, I love my second shooter to photograph the processional from the back row, so the back of the bride walking down the aisle with her dad. The rest of the time, I kind of get what I need, and so I give my second shooters a lot of freedom. During the portraits, I love if they're getting a helpful second angle, so just standing off to the side rather than right behind me. And during the reception, also capturing a different table reaction during the speeches, that sort of thing. So make sure you have that conversation with your second shooters and they know what to expect. One last thing, it's really important to have a second shooter agreement before you approach the wedding day. So in this agreement, lay out your image usage rights, what your second shooter can do with the images they use, what the payment will be, what the start time and the end time of the wedding will be, and have you both sign it so you're on the same page and things are official. During the ceremony, I really like when my second shooters can check in with me. And what I mean by that is just make eye contact throughout the ceremony, at least every minute or so. There might be times where I'm on one side and I have an idea for a photo, and if my second shooter looks at me, I might say like, back. And you also need to be good at lip reading. I'm just kidding, but that does help. I really like that eye contact because it shows that my second shooters really pay attention to what I need during that ceremony and we're working great as a team. Finally, would just be being available. During the reception, things can happen where I'll be shooting perhaps the dancing and I'll be running low on my flash batteries, and it's really nice to have my second shooter nearby and I can instruct them, hey, can you go grab me 4 AA's out of my camera bag, and they're ready and willing to do that, and that's such a huge help. So now we're talking guidelines and my systems after the wedding with my second shooter. So it starts at the wedding reception. I have my second shooter download all of the images that they took during the day onto my laptop right at the reception. I find this is the easiest way. I know some photographers will instruct second shooters to maybe cull through their images first and just deliver those to them within 48 hours. I just don't like that back and forth. I don't like having to pick up images from the mail or meet the second shooter. I just think it's inefficient. So I really like to have all the images on my laptop right away, and then I can cull through the images on Monday morning together, the second shooter's images along with mine. So I mentioned the second shooter agreement that I use when I talked about before wedding guidelines. So what that agreement holds is some image usage guidelines. And so this is personal, it's up to you. I just share what I do in order to help you. So I allow my second shooters to vlog the wedding, but I request that they wait until after I've vlogged the wedding and that they also link to my blog post on my website, so it's made clear that they were second shooting and I was the main shooter. I allow my second shooters to post a link on Facebook to their blog post, but I don't allow actual images on their Facebook page. This is just personal preference, and I've found sometimes get into trouble where my clients will be so excited about the 2 sets of images that they're receiving, they'll find my second shooter's page, like that page, share that page, tag themselves in the photos just like they have on mine, and I just don't like the confusion there. So I really make sure that the only images that are able to be tagged on Facebook are mine. But if the second shooter would like to alert their fan page that there's a new post up on their blog, I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with my second shooter using the images that they capture on the wedding days with me on their website, but I do request that they don't do a full image gallery. So what I mean by this is if there's Sarah and Robert's wedding, and they photograph that with me, and they might have 50 awesome images that they really love. I don't like my second shooters to create a gallery on their main website that says Sarah and Robert's wedding. I find the wedding presented that way as a full portfolio can be really misleading and might show that that's a wedding that they were hired for when really they were just second shooting. But say they have a gallery called Weddings and they want to include 5 to 10 images from Sarah and Robert's wedding, that's okay with me. So those are my guidelines. You might have different ones. I really don't think there's a right or wrong, because ultimately you're hiring and you're paying that second shooter, so your rules are your rules, and that's totally fine. By using this system of finding second shooters and training second shooters, I've been able to find a handful of photographers I love to work with. Of course, the more you get to know the photographer that you're working with, the less formal a lot of these guidelines and agreements need to be, because you just get into this great working relationship, and it's awesome. So I hope you find awesome second shooters that will make your job and your life easier, and you can also provide experience to somebody who might be looking to break into wedding photography by giving them a chance to second shoot. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love if you subscribe and follow along. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook by searching Jane Elaine. Have a great day!